One of the bummer things about concussions is that they disconnect you from your physical body. Although you may have healed, as far as you know, from the concussion, the compensations are still built up in the neurological system, which is why you've lost some steps, why you can't see the ball as well, why your swing is slower, why you're not making those cuts, why work is harder, why relationships are harder, because the brain is still possibly holding on to all those compensations. And that's what we're going to do today when we're taking you through this movement, this movement integrated with tapping and education around the muscles and what we may be looking for. So if you've experienced concussions and you're genuinely ready to sit down and go to work and start learning about yourself, stick around. If you're not interested, you might want to scroll on because this is a 20-minute video. A lot of education coming through, but I guarantee if you give yourself the patience, even if you can't do it today, subscribe, like, share this video, and do it later on tonight or tomorrow. But follow along with this video. Be patient. Stop it a few times. Figure out what's going on. Make sure you download the tapping protocol from my website, kimmcIntyre.com. Boom, right up there, over there. And starting today, your entire life can literally begin improving. Our focus is on the hips today, but what are the hips connected to? Hand bone's connected to the elbow bone, which is connected to the hip bones and the feet bones and everything. So it'll be amazing to hear exactly how you respond to this video. And make sure you save it because you're going to want to do it more than once. I guarantee every single time you do it, you will get more flexibility, more strength, more knowledge, more understanding, and be more yourself. If you're ready to go even deeper, give me a shout. Let's hook up. Let's do my 6-session protocol around healing the brain, concussions, and so much more so that you can be back, maybe even better than you were pre-concussion. We'll see you soon. Hello and welcome to the Brain Healer. Today we're going to be doing a little exploration of the pelvis. Now, there's a lot going on in the pelvis, isn't there? A little bit different between man and woman, but same. And so remember, as we work, we are not just talking to the muscles. We're talking to the bones, the nerves, the arteries, the veins. We're talking to the chakras of the entire body, beyond the 7 or the 7. We're talking to the meridians. We're talking to the blood. We're talking to all the emotions that you carry inside. And emotions are positive and negative. Yes, you have positive emotions in there. But if you have pain in your pelvis, I will 99% guarantee you have negative emotions. Negative emotional attachment to your past. And that does not mean that you experienced trauma from others. It can be that you experienced an injury that was traumatic to your subconscious. And your subconscious prevents you from moving your pelvis effortlessly to prevent that injury from happening again, or because it feels unsupported in that movement, unsupported by your internal support structure, your new definition of core. So as we explore everything about the pelvis today, take your time. If you need to pause this video to explore deeper, please, by all means, pause this video to explore deeper, acknowledging the physical, mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual self within your pelvis, as well as every connection throughout your entire body. Because if you work with the pelvis, you're working with the entire body. If you work with your index finger, you are working with the entire body. So I hope you enjoy this experience today. Let me know in the chat. Give me a follow, a like, and a share, and let's get to work. So, connections to the pelvis. Pelvis meaning your pelvic bones. There's 2 of them. They're connected at the pubis and the sacrum in between, the femurs,
and L5. There's our bones, not to mention all of the ligaments that keep those guys from falling apart. Muscle-wise, we have rectus abdominis, we have internal, external obliques, as well as transverse abdominis, superficial to deep. We have QL, as well as the erector muscles on either side of the spine. QL goes from the lower rib to the pelvis. Helps you raise your hip. We have psoas attaching the lumbar spine to the inside of the thigh, so to the femur. So it actually doesn't connect to the pelvis, but it has a direct effect on the pelvis, as it is a hip flexor. We have iliacus. It is actually connected to the pelvis, to the same spot that the psoas attaches to. It is also a hip flexor. Another major hip flexor, rectus femoris, attaches the knee, the tibia, to the ASIS. It is a hip flexor. We also have TFL, as well as sartorius, are hip flexors, but they're just little guys. We don't want to rely upon them to flex the hip. That's where we get in trouble, is when we shut off psoas, iliacus, rectus femoris due to injury, due to emotions. We start relying upon this little guy here to move the hip, and we stop rotating through the pelvis and through the spine. In the back of the pelvis, we have gluteus maximus, our butt. But underneath that, we have gluteus minimus, medius, piriformis, obturator internus, gemellus inferior, superior, obturator externus, and quadratus femoris. Hip rotators, as well as hip stabilizers, and glute maximus extensor, all attached in the pelvis. Now, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, you might want to do some tapping, because you might not have realized how much is actually going on in the pelvis. We just do movement. I've been there, done that. I decided to go deeper. We have 5 adductor muscles attaching the femur to the pelvis. Adductors meaning pull the leg in. Abductors, glute minimus and medius, push the leg out. Pectineus, brevis, adductor longus, adductor magnus, and gracilis. Gracilis gets a little confused for the hamstring. Oh yeah, 3 muscles in the back of the leg, the hamstrings. Semimembranosus, semitendinosus on the inside, biceps femoris. Not to mention all of the muscles inside of the pelvis, connecting the sacrum. Now you might notice when I'm saying these words, little tightness, little shimmies. Tightness means I'm disconnected from them. Shimmies means, oh, I just connected to them. Confusion in the brain means I don't know what the heck you're talking about. And this isn't on the necessarily always on the conscious level. This is on the subconscious, meaning you may have had an injury in your past that completely disconnected that muscle from operating properly from your brain. So you compensate massively. For instance, with the psoas, if the psoas gets shut down due to injuries in the lower back, due to trapped emotions in the abdomen, due to inability to breathe properly because of the psoas's attachment to the diaphragm. Why did you stop breathing properly? Maybe an old whiplash, which confused the phrenic nerve from telling the diaphragm to properly contract and expand. And was that whiplash, was that head injury traumatic? Well, yeah, every single head injury and whiplash is traumatic to the limbic system. You may not have gone to the doctor, but according to the limbic system, it was trauma. And what does the limbic system do when there is trauma? It compensates around so that you can survive and live. Surviving does not always mean thriving. We're going to do a little movement here. We're simply going to bend the knees. Now notice as I bend the knees, I'm not bringing the hips forward yet. I'm simply letting the knees go forward. Now you may feel some tension across your back. You might feel your pelvis dip because of the inability of certain muscles. So if you can't bend your knees way down here, only go where you can, maintaining alignment through your spine. You're going to let those knees come forward. If your knees go past your toes, allow that to happen. It's perfectly healthy. But where is the weight on your feet? Is it balanced front and back, inside and outside? That's our goal. Now, if you've had ankle injuries in the past, you may very well suffer with back pain and hip pain because of inability for your ankle to be mobile. And that should be able to happen. I should be able to even get my leg farther over. But I'm happy with where it's at. Now, of course, we're breathing the entire time. We're not taking big breaths. We're simply breathing in your nose and out your nose. Notice how your breath changes with movement. And if it does change, that means there's a connection in your breath, your brain to your breath, to the movement that you're doing that is inefficient. Our breath should never change. Now, sometimes we're going to lift something up off the ground that's really heavy, and we're going to hold our breath and get all of our weight into it. Nothing wrong with that unless you're physically unable to do it and you cause injury. But as soon as you're done with the grunting and groaning, bring yourself back to your breath. Reorganize your brain. Because if you've ever had a concussion or head injury, you holding that breath can take you back into fight or flight. Wonderful. Now, since a lot of us might not necessarily step backwards, I'm going to take a step back. And now we're going to take a step forward with one of our legs. Choose whichever one you'd like. And now notice how that felt in your body. Did you feel stable? Did you have to step forward really fast? Were you able to balance yourself? Stepping slowly? How did your pelvis respond? How did your back respond? When you stepped forward, did your pelvis tilt forward? Your belly pooch forward and your back compress? Do you feel pain? Do you feel tension? What does that mean? It means I'm not neurologically able to simply step forward. Now we're going to step forward, and we're just going to stay there for a minute. I want most of your weight in the front foot. Actually, you know what? We're going to stay balanced between both feet for now. Noticing your breath. Noticing the weight distribution across the front of the foot. Balance front and back, side to side. Notice the weight distribution across the ball of the foot on the back foot. Equal weight all the way across the balls of the tarsals. Metatarsals. The toes are the phalanges. Is it okay to screw up? Yes. Is it better to fix the screw up? Yes. Now, we're going to step back. Now, do you notice a difference from one side to the other? If you do, that means you made some pretty significant changes. If you don't, it may mean you didn't need change, or you disconnected from the practice. Do it again. Now again, download the tapping protocol and integrate tapping into this practice. Do a movement. Tap. Come out of the movement. Tap. Tap until you are done releasing and reorganizing. And then we're going to step forward with the other foot. Nice. Now you may have noticed when I stepped forward, I brought the leg forward and then fell onto it. What if we did a slight lean forward from your ankles and we caught ourselves? Boy, that'd be a whole lot more efficient, wouldn't it? That would be the difference between bringing the leg forward and using gravity to propel us forward. Oh, and then I'm just catching myself instead of bringing my leg forward and catching myself. We are using gravity to our benefit. Now we should be able to move our head all around and not lose our balance, and notice the hawk flying across the way and be comfortable. Now you might notice that my ankles get a little wobbly when I do that. So there is sensory stuff in our neck, in our eyes, everywhere that's constantly communicating with our body to maintain a balance. And if there's a wobble, that means, okay, there's something out of balance. Now when I come back here on 2 feet, no wobbling, no shifting. When I step back forward, I look around. When I get to that position right there, I can feel my knee buckling a bit, and I feel some tension trying to hold myself still. So that's something for me to address. Is my body absolutely perfect? No, because I'm human and I'm in this human world, right? And that's okay. Let's see what happens when I step forward the other side. Ooh, that was a big step. And then we look around. Good. I've actually got more range of motion on this side. It's not 100%, but it's really good. Okay. Whee. Okay. Now this is why I do not recommend that you stare at a spot, right? Stare at a spot 10 feet in front of you, and then, okay, because that's not real life. What's happening everywhere else out there? I want to be able to walk anywhere and see everything. If a bird is over there, oh, look, there's a bird. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, a beautiful flower. Oh, a rock. Without losing our balance. And notice the difference there. I was moving all over the place and there was no wobble. I was having more fun than before when I was, okay, focus. When I'm focused on what's going on inside, oh my gosh, there's a lot more going on. But when we're having fun, it makes it easier on us. So can we make this exploration of our pelvis fun? Put a smile on your face. If you have to tap to actively acknowledge that smile, that would be a great thing for you to do. All right, now that we've played stepping forward, we're going to step back. And some of you might have had a little chaos in the brain right there. What do you mean step back? You might want to tap. You might want to release the fear of stepping backwards or maybe falling backwards. We're not going to fall backwards today. I'm not going to ask you to have gravity lean you backwards and catch yourself. We are going to bend our knees, stabilize on one leg, and place our foot back behind us. Now you notice the back foot, 45 degrees forward. That's my position for Warrior 2. Do we have to be there? No. We can put the foot out. We can put it back. We can put it farther forward. We can have it perfectly parallel for a lunge. But right now, let's do 45 degrees. And the front knee is directly over the top of the front ankle. I want you to pretend that you are Santa Claus. And you can put a kid on your knee. And that weight of that kid goes down directly through the foot, so that kid can be on your knee forever. But if your knee is farther forward or farther back, that means you have to stabilize and flex muscles to support that kid. Knee directly over the foot, not inside, because that's going to hurt your knee and make you use more muscles, not outside, although that's really freaking hard to do. Directly over the knee. Back leg is straight. Balance through the entire foot, balance through the entire foot. Ideally, we want our pelvis that would be perpendicular to our legs. Now, I've got a little tension here, so I cannot reach perpendicular. So I would ask myself, what is this tension? And I do have some muscle imbalance. So is it head, neck? It's in my neck, creating tension all the way down here. Bones in my neck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth cervical vertebrae. And you'll notice I'm flicking my finger down here. Muscle testing. Asking my energy, where is my imbalance? Which kind of resonates with the imbalance stepping forward earlier with moving my neck, right? And then C1. C1, touch those nerves, those balancing sensory nerves related to the eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. And I get more range of motion. Is there another place to work? Nope. I'm good right here. This is where I belong. Look at that. Warrior 2. Beep. Wonderful. Now, what muscles are we working? Well, actually, we're working your entire freaking body. Anything you do affects your entire body if you're connected to your entire body. Very important. Now, are there any emotions that are coming up for you? Any emotions for me? No. But when you download the tapping protocol, you're going to get 3 pages of emotions. Now, that might seem overwhelming for you. Go ahead and start tapping. Are those all the emotions in the English language? Nope. But it's a great start. And there's some emotions in there you didn't think were relative, like feeling insecure. What does that feel like? Feel that pressure in your throat, in your chest, in your face? You might very well have some insecurities that would benefit you from releasing. So ask yourself, what am I insecure about? Well, when I was driving up here to the top of the mountain today, I got a little insecure about shooting these videos. And I shoot videos all the time, but there was some insecurity. So I didn't go right to shooting the video. I did some work on myself. And now, effortlessly talking to you, saying exactly what you need to hear in relation to where you're at in your journey. Now you'll notice I stabilize pretty good on that leg, don't I? If you can't sit here and stabilize, play. So that you bring about more stability in your entire life. And that's what we want, right? Stability in our life. Happiness in our life. Now realize the longer that you stay in a position, the deeper you allow yourself to go, the more emotions come up, the more imbalance and chakras come up, the more blockages that you find within the meridians. The cranium, the brain, the nervous system, the muscles, the nerves. So take your time. Make this enjoyable. Will it always be enjoyable? No, because some pretty scary memories can come to the surface. That's why I recommend you practice on your own. Sure, go to a class to learn new stuff, but practice on your own. Because if you're just going through a flow, you're not giving yourself time to discover yourself. So one day you might be able to effortlessly balance. Wow, that was easy. And then the next day and everything tightens up. Okay, I've got a lot of work to do. Things are coming up in my life that are creating chaos within my system, or maybe I ate something that tweaked out my entire system, or maybe I had some dreams last night about stuff from the past. Hey, let's clear those dreams this morning before I go to work. And then all of a sudden, oh, look at that. And it's even better than it was before. Play, have fun, experiment. Nothing that I say here is set in stone. except for neutral spine. We don't want our pelvis here. We want our spine lined up through our entire body. Gentle curvatures. Some people have more curvature than the others, structurally built wise, but we shouldn't be there. That hurts. Shouldn't be there. That hurts and it's uncomfortable. Aligned effortlessly without holding it. That's why we train alignment. We just don't, oh, my instructor said one time that I got to bring my chest forward, so I got to bring my chest forward. No, because what if your chest is in the perfect place, but you just go for that cue, bring your chest forward. Now you brought yourself out of alignment. And that's the purpose of being aware of your body alignment at all times. So that at all times, anything that you do is the utmost comfort. You can be anywhere and everywhere you want to be. And celebrating the wins. That was awesome. I haven't done that in a few weeks, and it was better than I did last time. Of course, last time I did it, I was standing with my foot on the top of a rock that was 5 feet off the ground, and I was a little shaky. But I was still pretty stoked that I was able to do it. Right? So what can you do that you weren't able to do yesterday? Right? Play, have fun, experiment. What can you change about your life so that your life is more in flow, happy, joyful, maybe even bliss and love? Throw me a comment, like, share, make sure you subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed today's little talk. Have a great day.